You open ChatGPT, ask for a 6,000 word story, and get 500 words back. Every ChatGPT setting you're missing right now is costing you hours. ChatGPT can do all 6 of these tasks reliably, but each one has a gotcha that'll wreck your workflow if you skip it. Let's get into step 1. Step 1, write a 6,000 word story. You've probably tried this, typed a big prompt, hit send, and gotten back maybe 500 words before ChatGPT just stopped. That 500 word wall is a real thing, and if you don't know the process to break through it, you're going to be stuck copy-pasting fragments together all day. I looked at this closely, and the old 500 word ceiling is basically gone on GPT 5.5, plus with its 256K context window. But you still can't get 6,000 words in one clean shot. The process is outlined first, then chapters, then revised inside Canvas and projects. And that multi-step approach is what actually gets you to 6,000 word class output. Step 1 works, but the safer pick is knowing the process upfront, because if you go in expecting one magic prompt to do it, you'll waste an hour before you figure out Canvas and projects are the actual tools. That's one down, and this one's got a real gotcha baked in. I only know that Canvas gotcha because I lost a Tuesday afternoon to it before I figured out the right flow. If the 500 word wall has bitten you too, let me know in the comments. Step 2, convert a PDF into calendar files. There's a Reddit thread where someone says, just give ChatGPT a school calendar PDF and it spits out an ICS file, and honestly, that's kinda true. But the press test that actually tried this took about 2 hours and 3 separate LLMs before it worked cleanly. You want to know the actual path before you start. Watch what happens when you prompt ChatGPT to output a valid ICS file directly. It does it, but it's a prompting task, not a button. For messy or scanned PDFs, you want to flip on advanced data analysis so Python handles the parsing, because raw text extraction on a scanned doc will miss events and you won't know until your calendar is wrong. Step 2 works, but budget real time for it, because that 2-hour press test wasn't an outlier. It's what happens when the PDF is messy and you're doing it for the first time. 2 steps on the board now, and both have had gotchas worth knowing before you start. Step 3, set system prompts for consistent behavior. The number one complaint I see is people retyping their preferences at the start of every single chat, tone, format, role, all of it, every time. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. That's a settings problem, and if you don't know about the 4 persistent layers, you're doing way more work than you need to. So ChatGPT actually gives you 4 layers to make instructions stick. Custom instructions at the account level for all new chats, custom GPTs where the instructions field acts as a locked system prompt, projects for scoped sessions, and memory for storing facts about you. The gotcha is that raw system prompts in a new chat still reset every session, so you have to pick one of these 4 layers or you're back to square one. Step 3 works cleanly once you pick the right layer, and this one's a pretty clean win because the fix is just going to settings, then personalization, then custom instructions. 3 steps done, and this is the one most people skip entirely, even though it saves the most time per session. Step 4, use live camera to identify products while shopping. You're in a grocery aisle, you point your phone at something, and you want ChatGPT to tell you what it is. This feature went live for paid users in December 2024 on iOS and Android, so if you're on the free plan and wondering why you can't find it, that's why. I had to run through the press tests on this one twice because the results are kind of all over the place. A Lifehacker test correctly identified a hydro flask, but called a trackpad a laptop. And a community test got most fruit and veg right, but swapped blueberries for blackberries and shreddies for shredded wheat. So it's genuinely useful for broad product ID, but don't trust it on items that look similar. Step 4 works, but treat it as a starting point rather than a final answer, because similar looking items will trip it up, and I couldn't find an official accuracy number to lean on. 4 steps on the board, and this one's the most fun to use, but the one you want to double check. Alright, so we've got 4 steps down, but the next one is the one most people think they already know and get wrong constantly. Prompt engineering sounds like a buzzword, but the gap between copy-pasting prompts and actually knowing chain of thought is the difference between mediocre output and something you'd actually use. And after that, we're going to settle the ChatGPT versus Claude question for real. Step 5. Learn prompt engineering beyond copy-paste. 373 people have enrolled in the top Coursera course on this, so clearly a lot of people know they need to get better at it. The failure mode is relying on prompts you found online that work for someone else's task, and wondering why your results are inconsistent, and the techniques that actually move the needle are chain of thought and few shot, which most people have never tried. So the best starting point is OpenAI's own first-party guide. It covers clear instructions, splitting complex tasks, using examples, and specifying format. And it's free. The catch I didn't expect is that the guide is pretty API-centric, so some of the patterns don't transfer directly to the chat app, and you have to adapt them. The Coursera course by Dr. Jules White fills that gap with app-friendly techniques, and 707K students can't all be wrong. Step 5 works cleanly, but the gotcha is that the official guide assumes you're on the API, so start with the Coursera course if you're using the chat app day to day. 5 steps done, and this one compounds every other step because better prompts make the long-form writing, the PDF parsing, and the system instructions all work better. Step 6. Decide between ChatGPT and Claude for your workflow. You're paying $20 a month for one of them, and you want to know if you picked the right one, or if you should be paying $40 and running both. Getting this wrong means you're using a genuinely weaker tool for your actual work every single day, and that adds up. Okay, so when I looked at this head-to-head, ChatGPT wins on workflow breadth. The GPT's store, multimodal voice and camera, Slack, Google Drive, SharePoint integrations, and Microsoft adjacency. Claude wins for pure writing and coding as an agent. Most professional developers end up running both at around $40 a month combined, but for the majority of people, the ecosystem gap alone makes ChatGPT the default. Step 6 works, and this one's a clean call. ChatGPT is the safer pick for most people because the ecosystem breadth is just bigger. But if you live in a code editor or write long-form all day, Claude is the stronger agent, and you should know that going in. 6 of 6 steps done, and every single one worked. So here's what you'll actually have by the end of this. 6,000 word class long-form output using Canvas and projects. Valid.is calendar files from any PDF. Persistent instructions across every session through custom instructions and memory. Live camera product ID on your phone, and the full GPT store plus Slack, Google Drive, and SharePoint integrations all connected. And here are the 3 mistakes that'll trip you up. First, expecting a single prompt to generate 6,000 words. It won't. Use Canvas and projects. Second, treating the PDF to calendar flow as a one-click thing. Budget a couple of hours and turn on advanced data analysis for messy files. Third, trusting live camera on items that look similar. Blueberries versus blackberries, always verify. If you want the widest ecosystem and persistent instruction layers that actually stick, ChatGPT at $20 a month is your pick. If you live in a code editor or write long-form all day, Claude is the stronger agent, but for everyone else, ChatGPT is the default, and it's not close. Alright, here's the one nobody puts in tutorials. On Plus, with GPT 5.5, Instant, you're capped at 160 messages per 3 hours. And if you're using the outline to chapters to revise flow for a long story and you hit that cap mid-session, your whole workflow stops cold. The fix is to do your heavy generation in one focused block, not spread across a whole afternoon. So if step 1 got you interested in the long-form writing workflow, the next thing worth watching is ChatGPT Canvas Explained, because Canvas is the actual tool that makes the outline to chapters process work, and there are a few settings in there that most people never touch. That video goes deep on exactly how to set it up,